The Columbia Network takes pleasure in presenting Vivian Lee's and the Mercury Theater of the Air in the second of a unique new summer series of 9 dramatic productions. The first time in its history that radio has brought to the country an entire theatrical institution. Columbia is proud to welcome Vivian Lee to its corner of stars and to give him the opportunity of bringing to the air those same qualities of vitality and imagination that have made her the most talked of theatrical director in America today.
Good evening. This is Vivian Lee speaking. If there's anything bloodthirstier than a werewolf, it's a pirate, and the Mercury Theater is playing safe. Now, if vampires and their ilk leave you as uncannily cold as old Dracula himself, who was staked down firmly and is to be hoped permanently in his own family plot last week, then there are figures to prove that you are susceptible to buried treasure. We calculate that no decent, law-abiding citizen is immune to pirates. There are cowboys and Indians, there are gangsters and G-men, but these delights are inconstant, like the short skirt. Nothing wins like a one-legged, double-barreled buccaneer with earrings, a handkerchief on his head, and a knife in his teeth. What could be more appropriate on the starboard rail of your four-masted brigantine? If you haven't a four-masted brigantine, you have Treasure Island.
Squire Trelawney, Dr. Lives, and the rest of the gentlemen have asked me to write down the whole particulars about Treasure Island, from the beginning to the end, keeping nothing back but the bearings of the island. And that only because there is treasure not yet lifted. I take up my pen in the year of grace 1783 and go back to the time 19 years ago when my father kept the Admiral Benbow Inn, and the brown old seaman with the saber cut first took up his lodging under our roof. I was 14, but I remember him as if it was yesterday.
15 men on the dead man's ship, yo-ho-ho, and a bottle of rum.
Jim?
Mother called me from upstairs.
Jim?
Yes, Mother?
Jim, there's a man coming up the road. Go out and see what he wants.
Drink the devil, have done the rest, yo-ho-ho, and a bottle of rum.
He came plodding to the inn door, his sea chest following behind him on a hand barrow. A tall, strong, heavy, nut-brown man, his tarry pigtail falling over the shoulders of his soiled blue coat, his hands ragged and scarred with black, broken nails and the saber cut across one cheek, a dirty, livid white, singing that old sea song that he sang so often afterwards.
Yo-ho-ho, and a bottle of rum. Yo, open up there. Now then, boy.
Yes, sir?
What do you call this place?
The Admiral Benbow Inn, sir.
Admiral Benbow, eh? Nice, lonely-looking, pleasant, situated grog shop. Well then, it's the berth for me. I'm a plain man. Rum and bacon. Eggs, all I want. And the head up, there's for to watch ships off. I have a mind to stay here a bit. Here, you, matey. You with the wheelbarrow. Bring up alongside. Help up with my chest. You too, boy. It's heavy.
Yes, sir.
Call me Captain, boy. Captain!
Yes, Captain.
Just one thing more.
Yes, Captain?
You ain't seen him, have you?
No, sir. Who do you mean?
Along the road, maybe. You might have seen him somewheres. You can't tell. Let me know if you do, boy. A seafaring man.
Yes, sir.
With one leg.
Yes, sir.
Captain,
Yes, Captain.
bring me a noggin of rum, boy.
And so he came to live under our roof. We never knew his name. We called him the Captain. He was a very silent man by custom. All day he hung around the cove or up on the cliffs with a brass telescope, staring out to sea. All evening he sat in a corner of the parlor to the fire and drank rum and water, very strong. And every day when he came back from his stroll, he would ask the same question.
Jim,
Yes, Captain.
any seafaring men go by today along the road?
No, Captain.
And Jim,
Yes, sir.
you're a good boy, Jim. You wouldn't lie to me ever, would you, Jim?
No, sir.
You haven't seen him, have you, Jim? Jim, there's a silver fourpenny for you on the first of every month if you keep the weather eye open for the seafaring man with one leg. Let me know the moment you see him, won't you, Jim? A seafaring man with one leg.
Stormy nights when the wind shook the four corners of the house and the surf roared alongside the cove and up the cliffs. I could see him in 1,000 forms. Now, the leg would be cut off at the knee, now at the hip. Now he was a monstrous kind of creature who had never had but one leg, and that in the middle of his body.
You'll keep the weather eye open, won't you, Jim? For a seafaring man with one leg. A seafaring man with one leg.
Months went by. The captain bade fair to ruin us, for he kept on staying week after week, month after month.
And never a penny of money, Jim, not a penny he paid us since the day he came here, and me, a poor widow.
Mother, why don't you ask him for some?
Well, I'll tell you the truth, Jim. I'm afraid to ask. I'm afraid of the man. Now, if your father was alive.
In all that time, none of us ever saw him open the great sea chest that was in his room. There were nights when he took a deal more rum and water than his head could carry.
15 men on the dead man's chest. Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum.
Often I have heard the house shaking, and all the neighbors joining in for dear life.
Drinking the devil have done for the rest. Yo ho ho in a bottle of rum, bottle of rum.
Quiet on the midships.
Oh, bottle of rum, give me more rum. Oh.
He would force them all to listen to his stories. Dreadful stories they were, about hanging and walking the plank, and storms at sea and the dry tortugas, and wild deeds in places on the Spanish Main. By his own account, he must have lived his life among some of the wickedest men that God ever allowed upon the sea. The captain had been living with us almost a year when the first of the mysterious events that rid us at last of his presence. It was one January morning, very early, a pinching, frosty morning. The captain had risen earlier than usual and sat down on the beach with his telescope under his arm. My mother was upstairs and I was laying the breakfast table against the captain's return when the parlor door opened and a stranger stepped in. Sonny, come here, Sonny. Is this table for my mate Bill? I don't know your mate Bill. I'm laying this for a man who stays in the house. We call him the captain. Well, my mate Bill would be called the captain like as not. Now, we'll put it for arguments like that your captain's got a cut on one cheek. And we'll put it, if you like, that cheek's the right one, eh? But of course, Save me. There he is now. There's my mate Bill. That's him with a spyglass under his arm. Bless his old art. To be sure, you and me'll just get back behind the door, Sonny, and we'll give Bill a little surprise. We will, bless his art, I says again.
15 men on the dead man's chest. Yo ho ho.
Hello, Bill. Come on, Bill. You knows me. You knows an old shipmate, Bill, surely.
Black dog.
Black dog as ever was, eh, Bill? Bill, we've seen a sight of times, us two.
So, you run me down? Here I am. Well, speak up. What is it?
That's you, Bill. You're right on it. Billy, I'll have a glass of rum from this dear child here, when I've took such a liking to. And we'll sit down, if you please, and talk square, like old shipmates. Sit down, Bill. And you, Sonny, get aft. Yes, sir. And none of your keyholes on me, dear. You hear? For a while, I could hear nothing but a low gathering. Suddenly, the voices began to grow higher. I saw Black Dog, streaming blood running off down the road. Presently, the captain returned, alone.
Jim, give me some rum.
Captain, are you hurt?
I must get away from here. Get away. That's what. I must get away from here.
What's happened, Jim? What's happened?
It's the captain, Mother.
The captain? Oh dear, dearie me, what a disgrace. I've been afraid of something like this ever since he came into the house with that old chest of his.
I got the rum and tried to put it down his throat, but his teeth were tightly shut and his jaws were as strong as iron. An hour later, our friend Dr. Livesey came.
Doctor, what shall we do?
Where is he wounded, Doctor?
Wounded? A fiddlestick's end. No more wounded than you or I. The man's had a stroke.
Where's Black Dog?
Black dog? There is no black dog, except what you have on your own back. You've been drinking rum, man, and you've had a stroke. Now listen to me. 1 glass of rum a day won't kill you, but if you take one, you'll take another, and another, and then you'll die. Die and go to your own place like the man in the Bible, and the world will be rid of a very dirty scoundrel. Do you understand that? The name of rum for you is death.